Welcome, everyone, to People on Dating. I'm your host, Will Morales. And for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, this podcast is about the ups and downs of dating and how to navigate through it. Today, my guest is Larry Glanz. Larry, did I pronounce your last name right? Glanz?
Yeah, glands, like swollen glands. Drop the D in the S, the Z.
Sounds good.
Glands.
Larry has been a nutritional product salesman broker for 40 years. He lives in suburban Philadelphia with his wife, Kim. Larry's passion is writing, and his first book, How to Start a Romantic Encounter, published in 1994, earned him an appearance on the Oprah Winfrey Show, which we'll talk about soon. Also, his second book on relationship, Guy Gets Girl, Girl Gets Guy, was published in 2004. And his third book, which was just, I guess, recently published, Larry, the ultimate book on bathroom etiquette and humor.
January 2024 was published. Yeah, January.
So. All right, great.
Yeah.
Well, Larry, first of all, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be on People on Dating. I really appreciate it. And I guess the first thing I want to ask you is, what was that journey like for you? You know, you were a nutritional product salesman broker, but also now you're an author. You got featured on Oprah. So tell us that journey about, what was that aha moment that you say, hey, you know what? I want to write something. I want to write something about romance. I want to write something about bathroom etiquette.
I was a single guy for a long time. I didn't get married until I think I was 32. But during my single days, I observed all of the different things that would go on and the aspects of being single and where to meet people. And I always found, of course, being humorous was one of the great ways of connecting with the opposite sex, because women love to laugh. And I was always able to make women laugh. So if you do that, you're halfway there, or maybe all the way there. If you have them laughing hysterically, it's like the same thing with me with my customers. If I'm making them laughing, they're buying. So I do my best. That's what my job is, because we're on stage when we talk with our sales, our customers. So you're like my customer today. So I'm going to be on, I'm on stage right now, but we're all always selling something,
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. So, yeah. What are we talking about?
Yeah. So you, how did you become an author? What was that aha moment that you say, you know what, I want to write something. There's something about romance and all that. So what was that journey like?
All my single days, I used to have like funny connecting ways to meet somebody, funny lines. And I meet somebody, and it was like really good. And like I met somebody, and boom, it turned into like a relationship. And they came in the most innocuous, unique, different phrases and lines. So I ended up writing them down. I put them on cocktail napkins or matchboxes, books of matches, wherever I was getting a girl's phone number. And then by the time I came back, I at one point I said, what am I going to do all of this? I had a big file folder like this, filled full of lines, and you're looking through cocktail napkins, and I went through assimilating all this stuff. And one day I go, I think I got a book here. I think because I had ideas, and,
yeah,
and that was, but it's funny how it just evolves into that,
Yeah.
But that was the journey of that, and that was my first book, How to Start a Romantic Encounter, and the one that got me on Oprah Winfrey. I wrote this book. I sent it out to. I called the place, the publisher. I started And, in those days, they had a book called The Literary Marketplace in libraries. You go to Literary Market and you look at all the, if you're looking for editor, you're looking for publishers in your specific genre, fiction, nonfiction, whatever it might be, self-help. So I go through this literary marketplace, and I start with about a dozen places. I write them down on a piece of paper, and then I contact them, and then they call me back. And sometimes, because they don't want to be called, but I contacted them, and they said, first off, we need it in double space. You have to send in a query letter. So we need it in double space version. So I said, no problem. So I took what I had, put it in the double space version, and then I sent it off. And like a month later, I get I'm laying in bed on a Sunday afternoon around 3:00 in the afternoon, laying in bed, and I get a telephone call from this fellow, Rudy Shure, and he's the publisher of Avery Publishing. And he said to me, I wanted to tell you, I received your manuscript, and I really liked it. I said, really? I mean, I never wrote before. I was terrible in English. I mean, I couldn't be focused. And I hear a guy tells me he likes his book and he wants to publish it. I mean, the odds of finding somebody that wants to publish anybody, if you're a nobody, is very rare. Here the guy's been. So he says, you just need to add a chapter on, this and that. I said, no problem. So I crank out a couple more chapters, send it to him. Because the book will be ready in a year. I had no idea what. A year later, gives me an advance, and that was the beginning of my book ready. I'm like, Jesus. He sells
Wow.
his company, like went on Oprah, sold like 100,000 copies of the book. 5 years later, it was like dead in the marketplace.
Yeah.
And he and his partners sell their company, Avery Publishing, to Penguin Putnam. So it's a name, a label within their, these companies own other companies. Nestle
Yeah.
owns dozens and dozens. So they took the Avery Publishing, Penguin Putnam owned it, and they put mine out of print. So I ended up having that book out of print, So, but then I thought, why not? If at first you don't succeed, try to succeed. Try.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. Next, during the travels on the road, I traveled and I went to health and natural food stores, and I go into stores and I started to see signs. I drank a ton of water and coffee, and I see these signs, and please flush your hands, please flush the toilet, please spray the air, please jiggle the handle, all these things. Lower the seat for women. Don't flush tampons. Handwritten by people. One day I go in the store, I see a sign that says, "If you sprinkle when you tinkle, please be neat and wipe the seat." I cracked up. I'm taking pictures. I'm taking pictures of everybody's bathroom signs. People come in to see me taking pictures of signs in bathrooms that thought I was nuts. Like I go on, I'm writing this book, and they're like, "Oh, okay." And I know they were, sizing me up for a full neurological workup, but I was still doing my picture taking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I take my pictures, and I wanted to document my findings. And once I do, I see the "if you sprinkle when you tinkle, please be neat and wipe the seat." That was it. I exploded with all these rhyming ditties about bathrooms. Like what are the different types of behavior, spraying, flushing,
Yeah.
all this other stuff. Jiggling the handle. So that was this book, and I'm happy to share some ditties with you as well. Of those, but but we have, and then there's commandments, there's religious commandments, there's confuse us sayings, there's famous quotes. The famous quotes. There's a book called Bartlett's Familiar Quotations.
Right.
So one of my chapters is called Fartlett's Unfamiliar Quotations. So it's funny. It's got and very funny quotes. We spin-offs of Shakespeare, and I'm happy to share those with you as well. But I wanted to say we have that kind of stuff. We have Bassett Etiquette nursery rhymes and sing-alongs, the birthday song, ABCD, everything is a parody of proper bathroom etiquette. So and then I also had 3 terribly humiliating faux pas, which qualified me to write the book. That's the introduction to my book. People tell me the introduction is they're reduced to tears when they read the intro to my book, because I document my 3 episodes of what I did to be qualified to write this book on bathroom etiquette. So they're pretty funny, and they're very humiliating. And for me to come on out and even say them, share them with the world, I'm like, Jesus.
Well, people have been through that. People been through, I'm pretty sure, all the humiliation. I remember years ago, I went to a friend's house and she had a sign in the bathroom, "Please don't misfire." And then it had a picture of a urinal, and and then you see the the guy's pissing and he's missing the bowl. So it says, "Please don't misfire." I thought that was hilarious. So, but first of all, Larry, again, I we're gonna touch base on all those books. I wanted to talk about the book that you did in 2004, Guy Gets Girl, Girl Gets Guy. I'm pretty sure I screwed up the title. There you go. Yeah, move it over a little bit. I'll definitely put I guess to your left. Move it over a little bit to your left. Yeah. There you go. I'll definitely put that on the show notes. Yeah. So Larry, in today's dating society, if you've heard, it seems that some women have set standards so high that most men can't meet it. When we were growing up, it seems like we just wanted to make sure that the woman was professional. We liked them. We got along. We court them. Now it seems the courting phase is pretty much gone. I've talked to a woman that she's in her early 20s and she thinks chivalry is dead. What are you seeing out there, even if you are paying attention to that, because it's different. dynamic from when we were growing up to now. It's so different.
The women's movement was good for women, but and empowered them more and made them more bold and what have you.
Right.
But what it's done is it's the cost to men to find a woman and connect with a woman, between giving up at least 50% of what you have, being tethered to pay for, all the different things, has really frightened men away from women. So I watching the videos online about how their women are just really, really upset that men are not approaching them. They're not looking for anything serious with them. And there's men in their 20s and 30s. They really just, they could care less. They don't want any drama. They don't need it. It's not, it's not worth the aggravation. Is this a good spot for me where I'm sitting right
Yeah,
now?
yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, no, you're
Yeah,
good. You're
okay.
good.
Okay. So it's a struggle for women, and they put the standards so high. So men are like, I don't need it. I got the internet. If I need to take care of business, step brother, step sister, that stuff. It all works for a lot of people. You know what I mean?
It's funny that you say that. I see articles, or I'm reading articles. I think I see other podcasters or other clips, and it seems that a lot
Yeah.
of men are dropping out of the dating because it's like because of
Terrible.
standards or whatever that what they want. But if some men have standards, it's frowned upon. A man shouldn't have standards. A man should just take a woman as is. And you know what? No, we have standards too. It's just a matter of sticking to those standards and sticking to those boundaries.
Right.
Again, Larry, you wrote these books. Let's talk about your first book, right? How to find, let's say, what a romantic heart
How to start a romantic encounter.
and encounter. Yeah. So it seems that now we have social media as our dating apps. I'm not much of a dating app guy. I rather go and meet someone in person.
Same here.
Yeah. So what's in let's going back to that first book that you wrote in 1994. What are some of the places that probably still works today to meet someone? Does that?
Yes. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Other
go ahead.
than I'm guessing the bar scene. I haven't done a current interview of places, but I mean, I know women were actually going to Home Depot to find guys walking through Home
I
Depot.
saw
And
that. Yeah, I seen that on online. Yeah.
here's what I think. In my book, I know what women are trying to do. They need to make themselves a little more approachable and lower their standards upon a man coming up and saying something. If they really want a man to say something and open the door, in my book, guy gets girl, girl gets guy, I say, we're an attention setter. So whether
Right.
it's a T-shirt, bring a dog with a bandana, or have posters, or be reading a book or magazine if you're going out to eat somewhere by yourself or whatever. Force other people, compel the world to comment to you, whether you're wearing a really cool shirt or a headband, and want to lose weight, ask me how, whatever it is, whatever the sign you're touting,
Something
do
I could grab the attention.
attention setting. Yeah, the attention set. So I have a whole chapter in my book on that to help people to really know and really focus in. But once you do that, you turn the odds in your favor. Now you're getting people coming on to you, and you can at least be selective. And but if you're rude to everybody who makes any, you turn people off because your standards are so high. Don't do this kind of stuff. You can still have standards, but be respectful with your standards. That's at least I say, because I'm seeing a lot of men have said, I'm not putting up with that kind of stuff from women anymore. Even
Yeah.
on the dates they go, these women, single women bring their children and they expect to be paid for, or they're getting all kinds of ordering food for their kids, or they bring their friends. I mean, the standards and the abuse men have had over the years is just, it's sad. I mean, currently now, the whole thing has changed. It's time for, I think the wake up calls now for women, because guys aren't approaching. So I'm
Yeah.
saying use that, lower your standards a little bit, be a little more flexible to meeting people. You never know who the next Bill Gates is. Not the most gorgeous guy in the world, but certainly somebody like them, and beautiful Melinda Gates, whatever. A lot of nice people out there that you give an opportunity to meet. You can decide from that. But if they're not coming to you, they're afraid, and you have to encourage them by something you're wearing or doing. to engage you.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I like the part what you said. It's be approachable, because I even like I said, I have a friend and she's young. And she even said that sometimes she has that face not to approach her, but like once you get to see that personality, you go, oh my God, this person's so cool to hang out with and all that. And we talked before the show, and you mentioned also about making a woman laugh, because I'm with you 100%. Because if you make a woman laugh, she's like. And I remember one woman, a friend of mine, she told me that she loved this guy because he just made her laugh all the time. And so, talk more about that.
Yeah, I mean, well,
Talk about your
I mean,
comedian side that you didn't know you had.
well, it's in my religion we call it shtick. I mean, I've always had shtick, so I do it in selling and doing it, and even in talking with you, it's we're communicating in a good feel. I really love the energy that you give out. I mean,
Oh, thank you. Same to you,
that
brother.
makes
Same to you.
and more the reason why I'm so enjoying this podcast with you. I really mean it. But anyway, what was the question? Sorry, I
Yeah,
sidetracked
yeah. We
myself.
were talking about making a woman laugh, right? Because that's like it seems that's the key. Because, like I said, my friend who's in her early 20s and we work together, she, we have almost like the same sense of humor, and we're like 40 years apart in age, but we just like to make each other laugh all the time. And she's looking for that in a partner, just to make her laugh, and because she loves to be silly, but she's also has a serious side to her. And some of the women that I'm friends with, that I have no romantic interest, I always try to make them laugh, and I do make them laugh because by just being silly. So that's what I wanted to talk about more about making a woman laugh.
Yeah, I mean, it's just first of by making a woman laugh, it really drops their guard. They're not on guard for you. That hard attitude that frightens you. So before I'd say something, to scare a woman, I'd say something to make her laugh. Like as a third party, whatever, and then that kind of response, and then taking it from there. I wouldn't come on like, oh, you look cute, oh, you're really cute. I'm like, I'd be petrified to be beaten down, and believe me, I've been beaten down by the best over the years. Thank God I found a woman that wanted to end up sleeping with me for the rest of my life. So being where we're at, it's a beautiful thing. But beyond that, it's like all you need is the one to close the one deal. You're good for life. You know what I mean?
Very true, very true, very true. Most men, if not all of us, are very simple. When you wrote your first book, right?
Yeah.
Um, how did that idea come about? Um, how did, all of a sudden you say, you know what, I have a book in me. I know we were talking before the show, but I don't want to give the secret away. But what was that like, that journey like to write that first book? Like what were the ideas that you came up with?
Well, the two key things that to writing a book, and this will help anybody, is to find out the idea of the book that you want to write. So I don't care what it is, find it out, and then research to make sure that nobody wrote the book that you want to write already. Because there's a few people out in the universe already, that so many trillions of people. Somebody may have written your book, so don't waste your time. If nobody wrote the book, then you can go to work on taking a look at it, and then it's time to do a table of contents. And a table of contents is basically an outline.
Right.
It outlines. It's an outline of what you got. Whatever you're going to do, you have to sort it out. I had all these great pickup lines and techniques, but it needed to be sorted out. So I would watch Sixers games at like 7 to 9:30, and then I'd watch boxing from 9:30 to 11 o'clock on weeknights. I was busy working on the street the next morning, and then from 11 to 3, I would 11 o'clock on, I would start assimilating all these lines, the pickup lines and the ideas and how I met them and interesting techniques. And then one day I said, I got to do something with. So I made an outline, and I realized the outline was a table of contents. And then my next step was I wanted to really get committed to this. I said I had this file folder, and I got all these lines, and now I've outlined it. I don't want to disappoint myself, but more worse, I wanted to get the book and dedicate the book. I wanted to write my dedication.
Yeah.
Once you dedicate your book and acknowledge who the people are, you can't let these people down.
Yeah, you already acknowledged them. Yeah, they want to see that in print. They want to see their name.
I got to do this. I can't disappoint these people. I can't do it. I'm not going to disappoint any of the people that I put down in these books. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
So I, I end up writing the book based on that. So I had my dedication, acknowledgments. I knew the book wasn't already out there in the universe. There were other books, but nothing like this, my book.
Right.
So, and that was basically it. You always reach, and then you do it, you flesh it out, and then you try and find a publisher. If not, nowadays it's self-published. So my bathroom book, I self-published. I wanted to, because if it ever got out, at least I'm in control of the product. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
With a publisher, you make 25 cents, maybe 50 cents, unless you're a big name and they're giving you big dollars. Whoever the name of the person is, Taylor Swift, they give you a couple $1 million to write your book, so
Right, right, right. So,
it's a
okay.
different.
Yeah, so fast forward 10 years, then you got the second book that you wrote, right? Guy gets girl, girl gets guy. Okay, what was the story behind that? Is this a little semi-autobiographical account of yourself, Larry?
This is pretty crazy. The guy who I put my first book through with, his name was Rudy Scher, and he did this book for me.
Yeah.
In like 1999, Penguin Putnam came by and gave him this crazy offer with with shekels, and they couldn't. They made them an offer they couldn't refuse, and they had a 5-year non-compete. So they did it. Had to stay out of the business for 5 years.
Yeah.
And then he can come back. And he decided he wanted to. He decided he wanted to come back. And in 2004, 5 years to the date of when he sold for his so many hundreds of millions of dollars for his publishing company, he comes back at square one. So he named his publishing company Square One Publishers. And he's
Nice.
the greatest guy. And then he said, "I want you to write another book." And that was this book.
Yeah.
So the 2 books, and he used a lot. He used a portion of some of the stuff that was in this book into here because it already had a volume, was out of print. So we got 2 plays on the same book with more stuff in this.
Right,
It was
right,
fun.
right.
So I came back and I got 2 plays, and I traditionally published 2 books too, and that's really a rarity. But the same guy, and now he's a big force, been for years, a big force with Square One Publishers. So when some people are successful,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter where they touch. If they're in that industry and they're great at what they do, they'll be great if they come back and they're retired for 5 years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. So, some of the things that we touched on, right, is meeting someone at lounges or like you said, now we've seen women going to Home Depot, maybe going to meetups, because now it's, meetup.com has all these events. And it's specific to a thing, an event. It could be singles event. It could be all types of events that you can meet like-minded people. We talk about being approachable, right? Especially some women, when they have that face. And I get it. You want to protect yourself. You don't know the guy. We both agree that standards for some women are extremely high, that most men can't meet it. We also say, or you said, which I like, make a woman laugh. And I agree 100%. So Larry, when you started your third book, right? So it seems like you definitely had a gap in the books. It was that on purpose, or
It was every 5 years.
every 5 years? Gotcha.
My first book was this book. No, I'm sorry. My first book was this one.
Right.
And then I wrote this book when I found that the company I was working for was going to go out of business.
Right.
And so they were being sold. So I saw them firing everybody. So I rushed this book out, and I didn't like the way it came out, and I was like really, really upset. I thought, well, I did the best I could do, and then in 2004, I did this book. So it was 94, 1999, and 2000. So it was every 5 years.
Every 5 years.
And then,
Gotcha.
and then the company I worked for got sold in the end of we were gone at the end of 2001, right at the end of the year. So 2002 and on, and I decided I wanted to come back as my own business and represent, instead of me working for one company I ended up having all these different brands. So for the next 20 years, I was insanely, in the next 20, 22 years, insanely busy. repping
Good for
all the
you though
signs.
that you took, you took
I
control of your
did very
time.
well. I did very well in this business. People who knew me from the health food stores, they knew how well I did. I had, just it was insane. Everything was just popping for years.
Yeah.
And then I got hit with long COVID, and that got me off the road. I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
It beat my knees and feet, and it was all done. So I worked remotely from home in pajamas and sweatsuit and fuzzy slippers. And I got all dressed up for you. You
Good for
better
you. I
appreciate me.
appreciate. I see that you got a nice jacket on and everything.
I'm talking to Will today. I'm going to look all fussy and gussy for this guy.
Much appreciated. So
Yeah.
Larry, yeah, go ahead, Larry, go ahead.
I said, Will doesn't get pajamas. He gets the best.
I appreciate that. So Larry, one thing, for someone that might be in their 20s or going into their 30s, if you could give like a dating advice, what should a man do, or what can they do to meet someone? Let's talk about that. Like someone that hopefully they could, have a long lasting relationship. Like what would be some of your, advice?
Okay. One I really like is find a hobby that you like. So whether you like to shoot bow and arrow, you like to bicycle, you like to bird watch, you like to go to museums, find a hobby that you like to do and join a club related to that hobby that you have. Now you're honing in on what you love to do, whether it's bike riding, you find like-minded, there's always like a single person, and that could be attractive because they know that these are great areas. I don't care what your hobby is, whether it's bingo or shuffleboard or pickleball, whatever you like and what fits your playing backgammon. Me, if I was going to join, to be a backgammon because I love backgammon. I have a buddy who comes over, we play backgammon for like days. My wife feeds us in between, but we play backgammon games, love it. What I mean? Very relaxing, listen to music, but find a hobby you like where you're going to be around other people. So bike riding I like, and even if somebody's not there, you might meet somebody who's real nice, another couple or a woman. So, something, I know this great, and you're a woman. I know this really nice guy. He da 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 da, and those are the innocuous, out of left field connections that can make you find the wife that you end up, or husband that you are seeking, just by being out there in something you like. And the person says, and when they make the reference, they go, "Oh, this person really likes, or he really likes the bike." They let the bike, and they're like, "Oh my God, really?" And we can bike together. And it's always the person who knows you can sell you to somebody else. Now there's an extraneous way. You have people that are coming up to you because you're wearing attractive clothing or whatever it is, really cool earrings, or whatever it might be.
Right.
You have that thing. People are compelled to notice you.
That's true. That's I got you. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I appreciate that. Larry, first of all, I could probably talk to you for another like 2-3 hours. And before I let you go, just wanted to cover a couple more things. We talked about your book, How to Start a Romantic Encounter. We talked about which you made an appearance on Oprah, which was so cool. Your second book was Guy Gets Girl, Girl Gets Guy, right? Was 2004. And then the latest book is the ultimate book on bathroom etiquette and humor, which I think that's going to be a bestseller because that is funny. Just the title itself. Anything else you want to talk about, or anything else you want to before I go on? The Oprah Winfrey appearance, that was on her show. So did you have to go to Chicago to make the appearance, or you did it online? How did that work?
I wasn't sure if I mentioned you. It was the snowiest day of the year. It was such a blizzard. It was in maybe February 24th, 1994. Such a blizzard across the nation. So they came on out and had a interviewer come up and interview me at my sister's house. And she had a really, really stunning house instead of my apartment, but at my sister's house. And, we're sitting behind at a piano, and I'm all, looking, dressed to the nines. And the expert, Larry Glanz from, and that's how they did it. And they did the feed, for the show. But it was very exciting. Author of Larry Glanz, author of, and, so
that is so cool.
And then if you're going to do stuff, if you're a guy, try and find an interest that you have anyway. Be your own person. Don't rely on others. You know, take a direction of something that you want to really achieve in your life. Don't rely on women are very attracted to men that have their own purpose, that they're already got their life and purpose, and they're driven, and be that way. You know, be driven about what you like and what your passion, you have passion for. I'm passionate about writing books.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't sell many books, but damn, I love writing books. You know,
yeah.
I am flying under the radar. I'm a human that flies under the radar. People just don't know me, but I think if they read this book, they're going to love it. It's in print.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
this
yeah.
book is fun. If you like to laugh, this is a laughing book about a universal issue. We all go to the bathroom. And this is, the inspired, but song parodies, nursery rhyme, famous quotes. And there's you heard of pop quizzes?
Yeah,
We
yeah,
have
yeah.
we have a plop quiz at the end of this book. So there'll be a plop quiz. So
Gotcha.
they test you of what you've learned from reading my book.
That sounds good. Larry, anything else you want to promote or talk about before I let you go?
I just wanted to tell you, I couldn't have asked for a more joyful experience doing a podcast. This is my second one.
I
I just want
appreciate
to,
that.
trying to somehow have the universe find me. I mean, I know that the universe will pop one day. Maybe it won't, while I'm with it, but I want to help and do my part. Like conceive, believe, achieve.
Oh,
So
yes, I've
you
heard
got to
those
believe
terms.
in here.
Yes, yes, conceive, believe.
Believing
Yeah.
here, you achieve. And then I like this one. This is one of my favorite sayings by Andy Warhol. And the idea is not to live forever; it is to create something that will. And that says Andy Warhol. And I love that because that's really what it is. I want something that'll outlast me, and hopefully it'll spark a couple of shekels for my grandkids, because they're my life. I really care the most about them.
Yeah, yeah.
But I can't begin to tell you, I feel like I have a new friend here, because if you need me beyond this show, I'm your guy. I love you. You're awesome. I want you
No,
to
no,
know that.
same here, man. Same here, brother.
Yeah.
And before I let you go, where can people find you if they wanted to talk about, purchase the books, or if they want to visit you online, or?
I think the greatest place would be to come to www.ultimatebathroombook.com and
Okay.
come, come visit me. I'll show you the love. You'll feel the love. That's the best way I can tell you. Email me. It's all good stuff. There's an email group, but we have all kinds of products related to the book. But I really just love you to buy the book and feel good about it. Give it as a gift. Think about the ultimate gift is the ultimate bathroom book.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely
Thank
put that on the show notes. Well, first of all, Larry, I
you.
want to thank you so much for being on People on Dating. I really, really appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Right back at you, and I love being here. Thank you for having me on your show, Will. It was.
Yeah.
I'm really honored. I'm really honored to be on here with you.
No, no, it's my pleasure, man. Thank you, buddy. Talk to you soon.